Book 2 of the Fellowship of the Ring by J.R.R. Tolkien opens with Chapter 1, Many Meetings. This chapter picks up where the previous book left off, with Frodo recovering from his wound in Rivendell. In this chapter, Frodo meets many important characters, including Bilbo, Gandalf, and Elrond, and he learns more about the history and purpose of the ring. The chapter begins with Frodo waking up in a beautiful room in Rivendell. He is greeted by Bilbo, his old friend and the former ring-bearer, who is now living in Rivendell. Bilbo is thrilled to see Frodo and tells him about his own experiences with the ring, including his encounter with Gollum and his decision to give up the ring willingly. Bilbo also gives Frodo a new sword, Sting, which will prove to be useful later in the story. Frodo also meets Gandalf, who has returned to Rivendell after being missing for much of the journey. Gandalf tells Frodo about his own investigations into the ring and the danger it poses to the world. He also warns Frodo about the power of the ring and the importance of keeping it safe. Frodo learns that the only way to destroy the ring is to throw it into the fires of Mount Doom in Mordor, the realm of Sauron. The chapter continues with Frodo meeting other important characters in Rivendell, including Elrond, the Lord of Rivendell, who is a wise and powerful elf. Elrond explains the history of the ring and the threat of Sauron, and he encourages Frodo to continue on his quest to destroy the ring. Frodo also meets Arwen, the daughter of Elrond, who is beautiful and kind, and who will play an important role later in the story. As the chapter comes to a close, Frodo is presented with a difficult choice. He is given the opportunity to give up the ring and stay in Rivendell, safe from harm. However, Frodo realizes that he cannot give up the ring, as the fate of the world depends on him completing his quest. Frodo decides to continue on his journey, and he is joined by a new group of companions, including Sam, Merry, Pippin, Aragorn, Legolas, Gimli, and Boromir. Overall, Chapter 1, Many Meetings is an important chapter in the Fellowship of the Ring, as it marks the beginning of a new phase in the story. Frodo learns more about the history and purpose of the ring, and he meets many important characters who will play a role in his journey. The chapter also reinforces the themes of danger, courage, and the importance of friendship and alliances, as Frodo is joined by a new group of companions and prepares to continue on his quest to destroy the ring. Book 2, Chapter 2 of the Fellowship of the Ring by J.R.R. Tolkien, is entitled The Council of Elrond. The chapter begins with the arrival of Frodo and his companions at the home of Elrond, the Lord of Rivendell. They are greeted warmly by the elves and taken to the house where they are able to rest and recover from their journey. After a few days, Frodo is summoned to a council of the representatives of the free peoples of Middle-earth, which is being held in Rivendell. The council is convened by Elrond and its purpose is to decide what should be done with the One Ring. The council consists of representatives from the elves, men, dwarves, and hobbits, as well as the wizard Gandalf. At the council, the history of the ring is discussed. It is revealed that the ring was forged by the Dark Lord Sauron in the fires of Mount Doom, and that it has the power to control all other rings of power. It is also revealed that the ring was lost for many years before being found by Bilbo Baggins, and that it has been in the possession of Frodo since Bilbo's departure from the Shire. The council then discusses what should be done with the ring. Some suggest that it should be destroyed, but they are unsure how this can be done since the ring can only be destroyed in the fires of Mount Doom. Others suggest that the ring should be used against Sauron, but Gandalf warns that this would be a dangerous and foolish course of action. Finally, it is decided that a small group of individuals should be chosen to carry the ring to Mount Doom and destroy it. This group, which becomes known as the Fellowship of the Ring, will consist of 9 members, including Frodo, Gandalf, Aragorn, a descendant of Isildur, Legolas, an elf, Gimli, a dwarf, Boromir, a representative of Gondor, and 3 other hobbits, Sam, Merry, and Pippin. The chapter ends with the Fellowship preparing to depart from Rivendell on their quest to destroy the ring. They are warned of the dangers that lie ahead, and Frodo is told that he must be prepared to sacrifice everything in order to complete his mission. The stage is set for an epic journey filled with danger and adventure. In Book 2, Chapter 3 of the Fellowship of the Ring by J.R.R. Tolkien, entitled The Ring Goes South, the newly formed Fellowship sets out on its quest to destroy the One Ring. The chapter begins with the group traveling through the snow-covered mountain pass known as the Redhorn Gate. As they journey through the mountains, the Fellowship encounters various dangers, including harsh weather conditions and treacherous terrain. They also encounter a band of snow trolls, which they are able to defeat with the help of Aragorn's skill as a ranger and Gandalf's magical abilities. Eventually, the Fellowship reaches the other side of the mountains and enters the land of Hollin. Here they find the ancient ruins of an elvish city, which Gandalf recognizes as a place of great power and significance. The group takes shelter in the ruins for the night, and while they are there, Gandalf shares some of his knowledge about the history of Middle-earth and the forces that are working against them. The next day, the Fellowship continues its journey, but as they travel through Hollin, they begin to notice signs that they are being watched. Aragorn confirms their suspicions, and the group realizes that they are being pursued by a group of orcs. The Fellowship decides to make a stand against the orcs, and a fierce battle ensues. The group is able to fend off the orcs, but not without sustaining some injuries. In the aftermath of the battle, Boromir begins to express doubts about the wisdom of their mission and the strength of their Fellowship. Gandalf reassures him that they must continue on their journey, and that they must rely on each other in order to succeed. As the chapter comes to a close, the Fellowship resumes its journey, but with a newfound sense of caution and wariness. The dangers that lie ahead are becoming increasingly clear, and the group knows that they must remain vigilant if they hope to succeed in their quest to destroy the ring. In Book 2, Chapter 4 of The Fellowship of the Ring by J.R.R. Tolkien, entitled A Journey in the Dark, the Fellowship continues on their quest to destroy the One Ring. As they travel through the mines of Moria, they face many challenges and dangers that test their resolve and strength. The chapter begins with the group entering the mines of Moria, with Gandalf leading the way. The mines are a vast underground labyrinth, and Gandalf warns the others to be careful and keep close together. As they journey deeper into the mines, the Fellowship encounters a large hall filled with the remains of an ancient battle. Here they are attacked by a group of orcs, and a fierce battle ensues. The Fellowship is able to fend off the orcs, but not without sustaining injuries. As they continue their journey, they come across a door that Gandalf recognizes as the entrance to the tomb of Balin, a dwarf who had previously led an expedition to reclaim the mines of Moria. The group decides to investigate, but when they enter the tomb, they find that it has been overrun by orcs. They are attacked, and in the chaos, Gandalf is separated from the rest of the group. The Fellowship continues on without Gandalf, and as they journey through the mines, they encounter many more dangers, including a deep chasm, a dark lake, and a group of vicious creatures known as the Watcher in the Water. Eventually, they reach the other side of the mines and emerge into the sunlight. As they rest and recover from their journey, the Fellowship realizes that Gandalf is still missing, and they fear the worst. However, they decide to continue on their quest, with Aragorn taking on the role of leader in Gandalf's absence. The chapter ends with the Fellowship setting out once again on their journey, now with a newfound sense of purpose and determination. They know that the road ahead will be long and difficult, but they also know that they must persevere if they hope to destroy the ring and defeat the forces of evil that seek to control it. In the Bridge of Khazad-dûm, Book 2, Chapter 5 of the Fellowship of the Ring, the Fellowship continues their journey towards Mordor, and Gandalf leads them through the mines of Moria, an ancient and perilous underground city. They come across numerous challenges and dangers, including a massive chamber filled with stone pillars that is home to a fearsome creature called a Balrog. As the Fellowship makes their way across the bridge in the chamber, the Balrog appears, and a fierce battle ensues between the monster and Gandalf. The wizard manages to defeat the Balrog, but not before being pulled down into a chasm by the creature. The Fellowship mourns Gandalf's apparent death and continues on without him, with Aragorn taking on the role of leader. As they leave the mines, the Fellowship is attacked by a group of orcs and realizes that they have been followed by the enemy. They take refuge in the woods and are eventually joined by Boromir's brother Faramir, who takes them to his hidden refuge in the woods. During their stay in Faramir's hideout, the Fellowship learns more about the history of Gondor and the enemy they face. Frodo also confides in Faramir about the ring and his mission, and Faramir proves to be a trustworthy ally who does not succumb to the temptation of the ring's power. After leaving Faramir's hideout, the Fellowship continues on towards Mordor, with Frodo and Sam setting off on their own to destroy the ring. However, Their path is not easy, as they must traverse the treacherous terrain of the Emyn Muil and contend with Gollum, who has been tracking them and seeking to take the ring for himself.